The voice of the century was how Luciano Pavarotti described her. Enthused by her mother's singing, Joan Sutherland rose to heights only matched by her soaring soprano, along the way reviving bel canto singing. Affectionately called Joni by her musical and life partner Richard Bonninge, Dame Joan died yesterday in Switzerland. Reporter Tim Palmer spoke to those who knew a woman they say was uniquely talented and simply unpretentious.
Will you do an Irish Mountain?
Yes, certainly.
Let's hear it.
The voice, of course, is what will remain to assure Dame Joan Sutherland's place in the cosmos of world opera.
Joan's sound is only hers. Nobody else has ever sounded like that. Probably nobody ever will, or if they do, then it's an imitation.
By the time of her final curtain call, more than 3 decades of performance had put her name alongside Callas, de Los Angeles and Melba.
She ranked alongside or above all of those, in my opinion. As I think Pavarotti said, it was the voice of the century, and in many ways it was.
The extraordinary talent was projected by an extraordinary ambition. The child from Sydney's eastern suburbs, who learnt to sing by watching her amateur mezzo-soprano mother, grew to a young woman taking shorthand while dreaming of the brightest lights of all.
Oh, I always wanted to sing at Covent Garden. I thought it was a hopeless sort of dream. And I didn't mention it to everybody, of course, because they would have thought I was just stupid. But I always thought I could go to London and work as a stenographer if I had to.
She auditioned 4 times before Covent Garden took her in, and later said that had she not met Richard Bonninge in London, she might never have gone beyond the chorus there. Instead, the man with whom she'd share her life and career drew out Dame Joan's unique sound, stretching her to a higher register and sparking growing critical excitement as she began the life of a prima donna. Even so, the couple couldn't have been prepared for what was about to happen as they rehearsed Lucia di Lammermoor in 1959 for a Covent Garden debut.
Neither Richard nor I ever expected that it would be the success that it was. And it just launched me into a worldwide career. Overnight, more or less.
Last night, only a privileged few heard your voice. Might I persuade you to let us hear it now?
Pandemonium was how more than one of the critics described the audience reaction to hearing Dame Joan's Lucia.
It was a question of the right moment and the right person in the right role. The reaction was a world event. Literally overnight, every opera manager in the world was knocking on the door, wanting her and wanting that Lucia.
The Italians dubbed Sutherland La Stupenda.
By the time Dame Joan and Richard Bonninge returned to Australia, local audiences were swooning too. The former artistic director of the Australian Opera, Moffat Oxenbould, remembers the last night of her Melbourne season.
And the applause went for at least 40 minutes, I think. And then the audience started to chant, "Home sweet home, home sweet home, home sweet home." So I ordered the piano to be pushed onto the stage, and he sat down and played, and she sang Home Sweet Home. And then it went on for... I don't think I've ever heard a noise like that. The audience was insane. And it was as if people were sort of floating somewhere off the ground. But that was a 45-minute ovation, I think.
Dame Joan formed an electrifying partnership with another rising star, Pavarotti's respect for the soprano verging on awe.
She was with me always very like sister and brother, and she really helped me a lot at the beginning, and together we went very well.
You could see him with his arms around her, that he would try and feel her stomach, to feel how she breathed, because he was just amazed by it.
For those sharing the stage with Dame Joan, like tenor Anson Austin, the experience was galvanising.
A huge voice, but it was an extremely flexible voice. She could sing a vast range of roles, but it was the kind of voice that didn't have any sense of direction. It would seem to surround you, and it had a great warmth about it, and it was just a remarkable experience to sing with her.
Insisting she'd never be a Nellie Melba, Dame Joan's farewell was just that. A final bow, the audience swept up, and a Prime Minister weeping in the front row.
I think that she was unpretentious and essentially very simple and very genuine, and that genuineness and that openness is what endeared her to people, and especially when it's allied with one of the most miraculous voices that God ever gave to anybody, and a fantastic technique. You have something very, very special.
Tim Palmer with that tribute to the late Dame Joan Sutherland.